Hello and welcome back to Shelf Center. This is Bryce. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks for liking and subscribing. If this is something you end up enjoying, you never know, it could happen. Well, I think I figured out my audio issues, and mostly it comes down to apparently just actually speaking into the microphone or not. So I apologize for my last couple of videos that have not been great, but I hope this one actually works out. I wanted to do a review of a book that I just finished that I thought was honestly right in the middle. So I figured this would be a good test review book for my audio issues anyway. But anyway, it's going to be, as you already know, Sunderworld, Book 1, The Extraordinary Disappointments of Leopold Berry by Ransom Riggs. This is a spoiler-free review. I'm going to keep it as spoiler-free as I can, and I'll let you know if I don't. So there's that. But Ransom Riggs is the author of the Miss Peregrine's Center for Kids Who Can't Read Good or something like that. Which I haven't read. I've heard they're good. The Peculiar Children, right? Something like that. Can't help myself sometimes. But anyway, this one I picked up literally because I am a child of the 80s and 90s, and I saw a VHS tape as a book in book form, and I had to have it. And that's pretty much what it comes down to. It's just a cool cover. Like, look at that cover. And I could not have enough of it. Now, it kind of makes sense. At least this is book 1, and it did seem like, anyway, there's some issues, so maybe I will get into some spoilers now that I think about it. I kind of do these off the cuff and just go with it there's a lot of things I organize on the channel and a lot of things I don't. But anyway, this book, let's see. I have to say the writing's punchy. It's great writing. It keeps you going, keeps you enthralled, and it's very entertaining. Essentially, this kid who's obsessed with Sunderworld, this world that he found on his mother's, his dead mother's VHS tapes, and so that he watched all kinds of, every single one of them, a bajillion times at least, growing up, played in this world, made up fanciful games with his best friend Emmett, and they would constantly just spend time in this world, play acting it out as kids. But the problem is Leopold, who has many extraordinary disappointments, keeps kind of like having hallucinations that are seemingly in this world or from the world. We start out the book, he's in an interview that his dad set up for him, his dad who's kind of a jerk and terrible, and he sets it up for him, and he bombs it just bad, which is, one of the extraordinary disappointments of Leopold Berry. There are points at which I'm, for some reason, surprised that there are more disappointments. So you start out with this, all right, is he crazy or what? But you're like, but I'm also reading the book called Sunderworld, so I assume something comes of this. Well, his best friend, who's kind of knowledgeable about his hallucinations, his crazy part of him, is giving him some peace, tries to help him out, but it's getting kind of old for everybody at this point, as he's now 17 years old, and that's kind of the perspective here. It's YA, I would say. It definitely has a healthy amount of like cuss words, as a 17-year-old would definitely use. So it's pretty realistic. It's not too crazy, but if you wanted to know, now. And it's entertaining. It's a very cool look at kind of, is this real? Is it crazy? Is he really just disappointing again? Underworld it's a magical world of, and I don't think it's too much spoiler, like Sunderworld, that's the whole book. It's this magical world. It's filled with magic. It's kind of run on magic. Just things work a little differently, and they seem to be against people who are not magic. All right, muggles apparently, but not. And so anyway, overall, I'm going to have to give it, before I get into some spoilers, because I do want to talk some spoilers, apparently. Who knows when I start these? I would say I give it like a solid 6 to 7, as I'm not being solid. 6 out of 10. I wasn't like overly, and this comes with some of the stuff I want to talk about in the spoiler section, but I wasn't blown away. It just felt like a book 1, just a setup for a lot more. It was still entertaining, but just not nearly the amount of answers I felt like I needed in a book 1 to bring me back to go, I gotta find out. It's like we didn't even get to like some kind of cursory stuff. I felt like that it just felt like you kind of needed to know. It's kind of more just like playing with some of the stuff. Anyway, there's also some just great parts. So I'll jump into the spoilers right now. 3, 2, 1, go with spoilers. Your description down below will show the spoiler part. Spoilers, they're just some of the things, like I said, it just felt like a big setup to get to something else in later books. You don't really get, I felt like, really deep into this. As soon as Leopold or Larry Berry kind of finds his way into Sunderworld, he almost immediately, well, one of the fun parts I have to say is that he experiences magic for the first time, like something that he'd never ever thought he would, just wished he could have, always was waiting for, just his dream come true, and he gets to, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of a fun little cute scene, and they're using just like the crappiest magic that they possibly can get a hold of because that's all they can afford, and it's just fun to see. But then they give some false confidence, and they immediately volunteer to do the test to become what's called a channeler. And the channeler test is, this is the person who's gonna like maybe save Sunderworld. He jumps right into this, like trying to become a channeler, and he fails miserably, and it doesn't work out, and he's immediately kicked out of Sunderworld, and you're like, what? So it's frustrating, but again, I shouldn't have been disappointed with this because it was the extraordinary disappointments of Leopold Berry. He got kicked out immediately, and he became, was told very average. You're very average. So it was good, but again, it's just like, okay, he's immediately kicked out. What do we do with this? Okay, so now he discovers that his mom left this kind of trail for him. She's the one that knew about Sunderworld or something. You're thinking, she's from Sunderworld, maybe his dad wasn't, and that's how they got together, and that's why Larry Berry can do magic. All kinds of questions in your head. She leaves this kind of map for him to follow, and he follows, and he makes it back into Sunderworld. He meets some people, and so it's like constantly like, okay, and then he finds the thing that his mom wanted him to find, and then he doesn't go anywhere. It kind of attaches to him, and not a lot happens with it. We don't really get told a lot, or that his mom wanted him to do this, but other people are involved in this now, and so he's got this new person he meets, Isabel and her uncle Norm, and they kind of help him out, but they're involved in something, and again, you just don't really know. But then Leopold's got to go help his friend who has some issues because his friend went to Sunderworld with him, and his friend has, they didn't erase his memory correctly, and now he's gone way too far back, many years, and they want to. So Larry wants to go save him, and that becomes the new thing. And so then there's this huge big chase. So it just felt like, okay, there's a bunch of stuff happening. What are we actually doing? It just felt like it needed a little more setup. Like it could be a little longer, and I know it's trying to be a YA book, so it's got to keep it punchy, keep it fast. It's only 326 pages. It could have used, as opposed to what I've been saying about Brandon Sanderson lately, like he could use a little less pages. I feel like this one could have used maybe another 50, 100 pages just to like get us somewhere that like it felt like we needed to go, because at this point, I don't really have any real big interest in coming back to this unless people start saying, hey, this is the best thing since sliced bread. I don't know if I have any reason really, and that's why I gave my 6 out of 10. It's better than average. And it was really entertaining, and I read a lot, but I was kind of just reading to find out, and then finally you're like, that's where we end it. So overall, still decent. And I'm sure it will get better with age. I hope so, at least, and that there's more. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it one more to just see, but I got a lot on my plate too. So anyway, thanks for stopping by, and we will catch you next time. Bye.